Here are 7 things that you can do right now to help the situation. That if you do them and if everyone does them, then I promise you, because Allah Himself has promised you, it will lead to our victory sooner or later. Number 1, everything starts with intention. Consciously set your intention that you want to eradicate oppression off the face of this planet, because the Prophet ﷺ, he said that if you do not achieve the result of your intention, then Allah rewards you as if you achieved that intention in full. Not only that, but it will also unite all the Muslim minds on the same goal, which will give us motivation, discipline and drive to constantly work towards it until we actually achieve it. Number 2, always remember that dua is the weapon of the believers. Make plenty of dua for the entire ummah, not just one time, not just twice, every single day, especially in sujood, especially in tahajjud. Make it a habit that you wake up in tahajjud and you make dua, not just for yourself, but also for the entire ummah and against the oppressors of the world today. Number 3 is to realize that now is the perfect time for you to commit to Islam like you've never committed before. Why? Because Allah gives you a condition in the Quran where He says, "In tansurullah yansurkum." If you help and support Allah's cause, then Allah will help you and support you in return. In other words, how can you expect Allah to help you and support you in times of difficulty when you in times of ease forget Allah and you don't do what you're supposed to do? Guys, find the holes in your life, you know what they are, and strive your best to fill those holes by doing the right thing, doing the halal, avoiding the haram, and striving to go above and beyond. Number 4, which I can make a whole entire video about, is to study Islam deeply. There's a very famous quote which goes that if you want to destroy a people, listen carefully, if you want to destroy a people, then start by obliterating their knowledge of their own history. Guys, it goes without saying that the vast majority of the ummah does not know anything about our history. And in fact, the very reason why we're here today is because our enemies know more about our history than we know about our history, and so we've been able to fall into this situation without even realizing, and now we're wondering what we can do. If you want to truly implement a long-term solution, begin today by finding a way to learn more about your deen deeply and especially your history. That is going to slowly but surely reverse all the damage that's been done up until this date. Number 5 is to realize and to know with certainty that it's not just the Palestinians that are at war, we are also at war. And this war is the propaganda war, the mind war, where we are trying so hard to spread the truth and make everyone know the truth, but they are trying so hard to silence us and put us back in our seats. From Instagram releasing updates and shadow banning people, to celebrities sharing nonsense about Israel, to the media pushing lies and propaganda. It's a war. And like with any war, action point number 5 is to remind you to keep fighting it no matter what and to never give up. Keep making your voice heard. Keep sharing, keep telling people, keep making the truth clear. Otherwise, if we all stay quiet, then the brainwashing will continue and they will be able to achieve their greater goal once everyone is on the same page as their lies and their deception. Number 6, apply pressure on all the leaders of the world today, both in the West and especially in the East. Petition, rally, make your voice heard. Go out and do protests and don't commit any haram in any of them. Make sure you stick to the commandments of Allah when you do these things, but speak up against these leaders and corruption that they're causing. There are literally countries out there that are facilitating innocent civilians from being trampled on and obliterated. And in the Muslim world, the radio silence is deafening. It's time to hold them to a higher standard. What are they doing to help our own people? Our own blood is pouring and no one is saying anything. And it's time for us to make this known both in the East and the West. Keep making your voice heard in any way you possibly can and use wisdom and understanding. And finally, number 7, which I said at the beginning of the video is the most important one, is please Muslims, stop arguing. Unite with each other. We are fighting a greater evil and we need each other's support. Quit the arguments about Ash'ari, Maturidi, Athari, Hanafi, Hanbali, Sunni, Sufi, Salafi. Quit these arguments. Every time I open a comment section, it's Muslims attacking Muslims, Muslims refuting Muslims, videos, this, that. What are you doing? Allah literally says in the Quran, وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا فَتَفْشَلُوا وَتَذْهَبَ رِيحُكُمْ. Please listen to what Allah is saying. Obey Allah and His Messenger and do not argue, because otherwise your spirits are going to be diminished, you're going to be weakened as an ummah, and your strength is going to vanish. Is that not happening today? We are literally a majority in the world. We have 2 billion Muslims around the world, yet we have no authority and no strength. Why do you think that is? It's because we're arguing about silly small things which don't matter in the grand scheme of things. Quit, stop, and realize that in another verse, Allah says, وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ. Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Those disbelievers, they are allies of one another. This is what Allah is saying. Look at what these allies have been able to do. They've put away their differences, and now look what they've been able to do with the world with their unity. And then in the second half of that verse, you know what Allah says? إِلَّا تَفْعَلُوهُ. If you do not do the same thing, تَكُنْ فِتْنَةٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَفَسَادٌ كَبِيرٌ. There's going to be great corruption and great fitna on this earth, which is exactly what we're seeing today. Guys, when will you understand? Please stop arguing with other Muslims. Please stop looking down on them as if they're misguided or mubtadi'ah, whatever it is. Please put away the differences, unite, learn to love one another, because it is essential if we want to achieve any victory in this corrupt, disgusting world we live in today.